Attraction is a complex mix of physical, emotional, and psychological dynamics. It's not something that happens overnight, but when you understand the psychology behind desire, you can unlock the ability to trigger attraction more naturally and effectively. The key here isn't manipulation or playing games. It's about making simple changes that shift how you present yourself, how you interact with others, and how you view relationships. Today, we'll delve into practical steps inspired by psychology and Stoic wisdom that can amplify your attraction and help trigger desire without any gimmicks. Let's get started. The first and most impactful change you can make is developing confidence. Confidence is magnetic. When you walk into a room with an aura of self-assuredness, people are drawn to you. It's a trait that cannot be faked. Confidence is not about arrogance, it's about being comfortable in your own skin. How you feel about yourself will determine how others perceive you. A man or woman who exudes confidence shows that they are secure and self-sufficient, two key qualities that trigger deep, instinctive attraction in others. Start by working on your self-esteem and trusting in your abilities. A confident individual naturally attracts attention, and that's the first step in triggering desire. One of the most powerful changes you can make is becoming emotionally independent. The Stoics taught that true emotional freedom comes when you're not reliant on others for validation. When you no longer chase affection or constantly seek reassurance, you create an aura of mystery and strength. People are attracted to those who are comfortable being alone and have their own goals and passions. Emotional independence not only boosts your confidence, but also makes others view you as more valuable. They begin to see that they have to earn your attention, making you more desirable in their eyes. Being present is one of the most overlooked ways to trigger desire. In today's world of constant distractions, giving someone your undivided attention is more powerful than ever. When you engage with someone, do so fully, without checking your phone or letting your mind wander. This is not just about listening, it's about being mentally and emotionally available in the moment. The more present you are, the more people feel a genuine connection. This creates a deeper bond that will make them long for your presence even more when you're not around. Presence is about showing that you value someone's time and company, which makes them value you more in return. What you don't say often speaks louder than words. Nonverbal cues like body language, eye contact, and tone can trigger intense emotions. By mastering these, you can convey more than you would through speech. Stoic philosophy teaches the importance of self-control, and this extends to your body language as well. Calm, controlled movements, steady eye contact, and an upright posture exude confidence. These cues naturally draw people in because they associate you with strength and control. Practicing effective nonverbal communication is a simple change that can significantly amplify your attractiveness. One of the deepest desires people have is for emotional safety. This doesn't mean being emotionally distant, but rather showing that you can handle the complexity of emotions without being overwhelmed by them. The Stoics believed that emotional strength was the foundation of leadership and attraction. When you're able to stay calm in moments of tension and create an environment where the other person feels heard and understood, you become a safe space for them. This allows people to drop their guard, leading to deeper emotional connections and a stronger desire to be around you. Subtle teasing is an excellent way to trigger desire without coming on too strong. It's about creating a sense of playfulness and lightheartedness. This doesn't mean making fun of the other person, but rather playfully challenging them or making them laugh. The Stoics believed in embracing joy and not taking life too seriously. When you engage in playful teasing, it shows that you are comfortable in the moment and can create fun tension without being overbearing. People are naturally drawn to those who can make them laugh and make interactions feel effortless. Teasing can trigger curiosity, making the other person think about you long after the conversation is over. Mystery is one of the most potent ways to trigger desire, but there's a fine line between being mysterious and being aloof. The Stoics believed in reserve, not sharing everything about yourself at once. You can build curiosity by giving just enough, but not too much. Share parts of your life, but always leave something for the other person to discover. When you practice this type of mystery, it keeps them guessing and wanting more. The intrigue and tension you create make them long to learn more about you. This strategic withholding of information makes your presence all the more desirable when you're around. One of the most effective ways to trigger someone's desire for you is to practice being occasionally unavailable. It's a simple change, but one that plays on the psychology of scarcity. The less accessible you are, the more others will value your time and attention. The Stoics taught that being emotionally detached doesn't mean being distant, but it means being fully present when you choose to be available. By setting boundaries and not always being available on demand, you create a sense of longing that builds attraction and makes your presence feel more precious. Self-discipline is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and it's also one of the most attractive qualities you can develop. When you have control over your impulses and emotions, you become a steady force that others are naturally drawn to. The ability to control your actions, especially in moments of emotional tension, signals to others that you are not reactive, but purpose-driven. This type of emotional self-mastery makes you more desirable because people feel safe and inspired around you. It shows that you can handle difficult situations with grace, and that your actions come from a place of strength, not neediness. Emotional resilience is key when it comes to building deep, lasting attraction. In any relationship, there are moments of tension, uncertainty, or conflict. The Stoics were masters at facing challenges without being emotionally shaken. By developing your emotional resilience, you show that you are not easily rattled. When you remain calm and composed in the face of adversity, it signals strength and security, two qualities that naturally trigger attraction. Women are drawn to men who can navigate emotional turbulence without losing their center. When you exhibit emotional control, you make yourself not only more attractive, but also more dependable in their eyes. This steadiness and ability to weather emotional storms is a magnet for desire. One of the most important changes you can make to trigger desire is to build a full life outside the relationship. The Stoics believed in self-sufficiency, the idea that you should be content and purposeful on your own, without relying on others for happiness. When you have your own passions, goals, and activities that are unrelated to the person you're interested in, it shows that you're not emotionally dependent. This sense of independence is incredibly attractive because it makes you a challenge, someone who isn't looking to fill an emotional void, but is looking for a connection based on mutual respect. When you are emotionally self-sufficient and lead a full, engaging life, your absence is felt and your presence is valued. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but when it's expressed playfully, it becomes a powerful tool to trigger attraction. The Stoics didn't advocate for showing weakness, but they did understand the power of self-reflection and embracing imperfections. To trigger desire, don't be afraid to show your vulnerable side, but do so in a way that's lighthearted and not too serious. Playful vulnerability allows you to connect on a deeper emotional level without coming across as weak or needy. For example, admitting a small failure or showing that you can laugh at yourself in a playful manner builds trust and intimacy. This balance of strength and vulnerability creates emotional depth, making you irresistible. One of the most powerful ways to trigger attraction is to cultivate the ability to let go. The Stoics were masters of detachment, and they understood that attachment to outcomes or expectations leads to frustration. When you can let go of the need to control or manipulate the outcome of any situation, you free yourself from the pressure that often stifles connection. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning someone. It means allowing things to unfold naturally. This absence of neediness creates space for attraction to grow, as the other person feels that they can't control you, and this mystery builds desire. Non-neediness is an incredibly attractive trait. The more you need someone's attention or affection, the more likely it is that they will start to feel suffocated. The Stoics promoted the idea of self-sufficiency and emotional independence. When you show that you are whole on your own, and that you do not need anyone to complete you, you become far more desirable. Women are attracted to men who have their own lives, passions, and sense of purpose. Non-neediness makes you appear confident, secure, and in control of your own life. It triggers desire because it makes the other person feel that they must earn your attention, and this challenge makes them crave you more. Desire is not something that can be forced. It's not about chasing or pleasing. It's about provoking it subtly. The Stoic man knows how to indirectly influence others without desperation or over-explanation. To trigger desire, you need to subtly hint at your interest without being overwhelming. Women don't want to feel that they are being chased or manipulated. Instead, they are attracted to men who play the game of attraction without explicitly laying all their cards on the table. Subtlety and confidence in showing interest without desperation is one of the most powerful ways to spark longing and desire. When you master your own emotions, you also gain control over how others perceive you. The Stoics were masters of self-control. They understood that reacting impulsively only weakens your position. To trigger desire, you need to control your emotions and actions. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather learning to respond calmly and deliberately. When you don't react out of emotion, but instead act from a place of inner strength, you naturally attract those around you. Emotional control signals maturity, wisdom, and a strong inner foundation, all qualities that make you irresistible to others. Being someone who makes another person think is one of the most alluring traits you can have. The Stoics emphasize the importance of reflection and intellectual engagement. To trigger attraction, engage her mind and make her think about you. This isn't about impressing her with facts or ideas, but rather about sharing insights that make her question, wonder, and reconsider things in a deeper way. Intellectual curiosity is a powerful aphrodisiac, and when you provide stimulating conversations and make her reflect on her own beliefs, you create an emotional connection that lingers far beyond the conversation. One of the most powerful tools to trigger desire is absence. Stoicism teaches the value of detachment, and when you detach from the need for constant validation or attention, it creates a space that makes people miss you. Constant availability breeds familiarity, and with familiarity comes complacency. When you create absence, even in small ways, you allow the other person to feel the vacuum that your presence once filled. This absence makes them long for you, and the desire they feel in your absence becomes more powerful than it ever could have been in your presence. Physical attraction is a vital component of desire, and confidence is the cornerstone of physical appeal. Women are often drawn to men who are comfortable in their bodies and confident in their actions. The Stoics believed that self-discipline and inner strength were the roots of true confidence. To trigger desire, you need to exude confidence in how you carry yourself. This isn't just about physical appearance, but about how you move, speak, and present yourself. Confidence radiates strength and attractiveness, and when you embody this trait, it's impossible for people not to feel drawn to you. One of the most powerful ways to trigger desire is through self-reflection and personal growth. Stoicism teaches that the pursuit of self-mastery is not a destination, but a journey. By consistently working on your own personal development, you naturally become more attractive to others. People are drawn to those who have a clear sense of purpose and are constantly improving. When you are committed to becoming the best version of yourself, whether that's through physical fitness, intellectual growth, emotional intelligence, or any other area of life, you create a magnetism that cannot be ignored. Your growth makes you not only more attractive, but also more emotionally compelling and inspiring. Confidence doesn't mean being impervious to emotions or avoiding vulnerability. It means being able to express your true self, even the parts that are not perfect. In fact, showing vulnerability can increase your attractiveness, especially when done with confidence. The Stoics taught the importance of emotional honesty without allowing emotions to rule over you. To trigger desire, be open about your feelings, but do so without the need for validation or approval. Vulnerability in a man who is comfortable with himself is a powerful combination. When you let someone see your softer side, you give them a glimpse of the real you, and that emotional depth is what will make them crave more of you. Mystery is an incredibly powerful tool when it comes to attraction. It sparks curiosity and keeps the other person engaged in the relationship. In a world where everything is often laid out in plain sight, being mysterious is refreshing. The Stoics believed that not everything should be revealed immediately. By holding back some of your thoughts, emotions, and experiences, you create a sense of intrigue and anticipation. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully understand or figure out. When you leave room for mystery, you invite others to invest in learning more about you, and that investment builds desire over time. To trigger desire, you must be emotionally available, but without neediness. The Stoic approach teaches that emotional independence is a sign of true strength. Emotional neediness can create pressure and frustration, whereas emotional availability allows for genuine connection and understanding. When you are open, present, and willing to engage on a deeper emotional level without relying on the other person for validation or constant attention, you create a dynamic that fosters longing and connection. The key here is to be available when needed, but also to allow the space for them to miss your presence when you're not around. Emotional control is a vital aspect of attraction. The Stoics placed great importance on controlling one's emotions and actions. By mastering your emotional reactions, you signal to others that you are emotionally stable and in control. This emotional regulation creates a sense of security, which is highly attractive. When you react impulsively to situations, you signal that you lack control over yourself, which can be a turn-off. On the other hand, when you maintain your composure and calmly handle difficult situations, you attract others through your calm strength. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means choosing how and when to express them in a way that fosters respect and desire. Healthy boundaries are essential for maintaining self-respect and triggering desire in others. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-discipline and personal boundaries in all areas of life. By setting clear boundaries and being firm in maintaining them, you show that you respect yourself and your needs. When you allow people to overstep boundaries or ignore your needs, it diminishes your worth in their eyes. By creating and respecting your own boundaries, you not only protect your own emotional well-being, but you also create an environment where others feel they must earn your attention and respect. This dynamic increases desire and attraction over time, as the other person will naturally want to meet your standards and rise to the occasion. A person who has unwavering focus on their goals and values is incredibly attractive. The Stoics taught that focus and purpose were essential for personal growth and success. When you are deeply focused on your own life, goals, and passions, you project a sense of purpose that others find irresistible. This focus makes you appear strong, driven, and emotionally stable, qualities that naturally trigger desire. When you align your life with your values and pursue your goals without distraction, people notice. The more focused you are on self-improvement and mastery, the more attractive you become to others, as your ambition and drive make you stand out from the crowd. Emotional resilience is a trait that naturally attracts others. The Stoics believed in the importance of emotional fortitude, the ability to withstand difficult circumstances without becoming overwhelmed. When you remain calm and composed in the face of adversity, you send a clear message that you are strong and emotionally resilient. This resilience draws people in because it provides a sense of safety and stability. People are naturally drawn to those who are capable of handling challenges without falling apart. By practicing emotional resilience, you demonstrate that you are someone who can handle life's ups and downs with grace, and that emotional strength makes you even more desirable. The power of absence is one of the most overlooked aspects of attraction. The Stoics taught that detachment and independence were crucial to emotional growth. By stepping back and giving the other person space, you create a longing that increases their desire for your presence. When you are always available, you reduce the emotional tension that naturally builds attraction. Absence creates a sense of mystery and longing, and when you're not around, people start to appreciate what you bring to their lives. When you master the art of strategic absence, you become someone they can't stop thinking about. The final step in triggering desire is learning how to stop chasing. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-reliance and personal fulfillment. When you stop chasing validation and approval from others, you create an air of mystery and power. People are naturally drawn to those who are independent and not dependent on others for happiness. When you stop chasing her and start focusing on your own life, you stop putting pressure on the relationship and allow it to unfold naturally. Seduction doesn't have to be loud or overt to be effective. In fact, the most powerful seduction is often subtle. The Stoics believed in being present and creating a calm, controlled environment in all aspects of life. In relationships, subtle seduction comes through your nonverbal cues, the way you look at someone, the way you stand, how you carry yourself. When you move with intention and speak with clarity, you project a sense of calm strength that naturally draws people toward you. Seduction is not about making big gestures. It's about creating a space where the other person can feel your energy without needing to constantly speak or chase. Self-sufficiency is a quality that is highly attractive, both in relationships and in life. The Stoics valued self-reliance, teaching that true strength comes from within and is not reliant on external sources. To trigger desire, become someone who doesn't need constant validation. Cultivate a strong sense of independence, where your happiness is not reliant on others. When you show that you are content, confident, and driven on your own, it becomes magnetic. People are drawn to those who can stand on their own, as it signals emotional strength and maturity, qualities that are irresistible. Self-sufficiency creates space for mutual desire to flourish, as it makes others realize that your presence is a choice, not a necessity. Mystery is an ancient tool of attraction that never goes out of style. The Stoics understood the importance of holding back, not giving everything away at once. When you create an air of mystery, you ignite curiosity and longing. People are naturally drawn to those they can't fully figure out. The less you reveal about yourself, the more others feel the need to get to know you. It's not about playing games, it's about strategic detachment. When you keep some parts of your life or personality under wraps, it forces others to become emotionally invested in uncovering them. This curiosity creates desire, and over time, your mystery becomes the foundation of a deeper emotional connection. Ambition and a strong sense of purpose are incredibly attractive qualities. The Stoics emphasized the importance of having a clear vision for your life and aligning your actions with your purpose. When you are passionate about your goals and work relentlessly towards them, you naturally become more appealing. People are drawn to those who are focused on personal growth and self-actualization. This purpose-driven energy is magnetic and can trigger deep desire because it shows that you are capable, confident, and driven. When someone sees that you have a direction in life, they can't help but be drawn to your energy. Purpose provides depth, and depth triggers attraction. Emotional independence is the foundation of a healthy relationship. The Stoics taught that you should never rely on external sources for your emotional stability. This emotional independence is incredibly attractive because it allows both parties to feel secure within themselves. When you are emotionally self-sufficient, you avoid becoming needy or clingy, which often kills attraction. Instead, you show that your happiness does not depend on someone else's approval. When you give space to each other, it creates a healthy and balanced dynamic, where both people can miss each other in a meaningful way, leading to a deeper connection. Listening is one of the most underrated yet most attractive qualities you can develop. The Stoics valued reflection and understanding, which requires active listening. When you listen carefully and attentively, you show that you value the other person's thoughts and feelings. This attentiveness builds emotional intimacy, which is a key component of attraction. When you listen without interrupting or judging, you create a space for vulnerability, which increases connection. Calmness is one of the most powerful emotions you can project. The Stoics were masters of Stoic calm, knowing how to remain emotionally steady in any situation. In relationships, people are drawn to those who can stay calm under pressure, as it shows emotional strength and self-control. When you cultivate calmness, you create an atmosphere where others feel at ease. This sense of emotional stability makes your presence feel grounded and dependable, and it triggers attraction in a way that is subtle but powerful. People miss the steady energy that calmness brings, and that absence makes your return all the more desirable. While consistency is important, unpredictability adds excitement and intrigue to a relationship. The Stoics believed in the value of living intentionally, but they also understood the importance of spontaneity. Being unpredictable in your actions, your plans, and even your interactions can keep the other person emotionally engaged. The key here is balance. You don't want to be inconsistent or unreliable, but introducing an element of surprise and mystery keeps the connection dynamic. When you surprise someone, it triggers curiosity and desire because it breaks the pattern of the usual routine and keeps them coming back for more. One of the most powerful tools in attraction is the ability to create absence. The Stoics valued detachment and emotional distance to maintain control over one's own mind and emotions. In relationships, creating space allows desire to grow. When you are always available, you remove the mystery and excitement of wanting the other person. However, when you create absence, you trigger longing and desire because the other person misses you. Absence, when used effectively, doesn't push someone away. It makes them appreciate your presence more. The time apart allows them to reflect and build desire, which makes your next interaction even more powerful. The Stoics emphasized that true power comes from the control of one's own emotions. By mastering your emotional state, you become an emotionally strong and steady presence. In relationships, this control makes you appear more mature and dependable. When you don't let your emotions control your actions, you project strength and resilience. Emotional stability allows you to navigate difficult situations with grace, making others feel secure in your presence. People are naturally attracted to those who can maintain their composure, and they will miss the strength and stability you bring when you're absent. These paragraphs are designed to provide actionable advice on how to trigger desire through simple changes, combining Stoic principles with psychological insights to foster attraction. Let me know if you'd like more paragraphs or adjustments. One of the most intriguing ways to trigger desire is by presenting a playful challenge. This isn't about being harsh or condescending, but about engaging the other person in a way that invites them to step up and meet your energy. Stoicism teaches us the value of inner strength and self-respect, which naturally positions you to challenge others without insecurity or fear. When you challenge someone in a playful, lighthearted manner, it forces them to invest more in the relationship, mentally and emotionally. Playful challenges keep the dynamic fresh and exciting and often spark an increased attraction. It's the fine balance between being assertive and keeping things fun that creates a strong pull of desire. Self-reflection is an incredibly powerful tool for personal growth and attraction. The Stoics practiced continuous reflection as a way to improve themselves and understand their emotions. When you take the time to reflect on your actions, words, and behaviors, you show a deep commitment to personal growth. Self-awareness makes you more attractive because it shows that you are in touch with your emotions and are constantly working to improve yourself. When someone sees that you are constantly improving and evolving, it naturally sparks curiosity and desire for a deeper connection with you. One of the most attractive qualities you can possess is self-mastery. The Stoics taught that true strength lies in controlling your impulses and mastering your desires. This ability to control your emotions and actions makes you incredibly attractive because it signals emotional stability and maturity. When you can manage your reactions in stressful situations and don't let external circumstances affect your emotional state, it creates an aura of calm and assurance that others find irresistible. The more you practice self-mastery, the more others will be drawn to your inner strength, and that attraction will deepen with time. Creating a sense of mystery is one of the best ways to trigger desire. The Stoics understood that emotional restraint and self-discipline lead to a sense of mystery and depth. When you are emotionally available, but also keep a part of yourself reserved, you create an unpredictable yet alluring dynamic. People are naturally drawn to those who are not fully transparent about their thoughts and feelings. A little mystery ignites curiosity, which builds desire. Being open, yet withholding just enough, sparks emotional intrigue that makes others long for more of your presence. Respect is foundational to any healthy relationship, and it plays a pivotal role in triggering desire. The Stoics revered mutual respect and believed it was the cornerstone of meaningful connections. When you show respect to others by being considerate, listening attentively, and valuing their opinions, you create a strong emotional bond. This respect doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but it signals to the other person that you value and honor them. When you exhibit respect in all aspects of a relationship, you not only foster trust, but also make yourself irresistible. Desire thrives when respect is mutual, and without it, desire fades. The Stoic principle of detachment is crucial when it comes to triggering desire. Detachment doesn't mean emotional disconnection. It means being independent and free from dependency on external validation. By not constantly seeking approval, attention, or affection from others, you create a sense of freedom that is attractive. When you allow space in a relationship, both emotionally and physically, you naturally make the other person appreciate your presence more. Detachment doesn't make you cold or indifferent. It makes you someone who values self-sufficiency and emotional independence, which in turn triggers desire in others. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but when expressed genuinely, it becomes an incredibly powerful tool for connection and attraction. Stoicism teaches us to embrace our emotions, but not to be ruled by them. The ability to show vulnerability without being overwhelmed by it signals strength and emotional maturity. When you share your authentic self, your struggles, fears, and dreams, you invite others to do the same. This creates emotional intimacy, and the deeper the emotional connection, the stronger the attraction. Vulnerability triggers a deeper form of desire, one that is rooted in trust and emotional closeness. Confidence is often linked to physical attraction, but it's also a crucial component of creating emotional safety. When you have confidence in yourself and your abilities, you radiate a sense of security that others are drawn to. Women especially are attracted to men who make them feel emotionally safe, secure enough to be their authentic selves. The Stoics believed that by mastering your emotions, you create an inner peace that extends outward to others. When you are calm, composed, and confident in your own skin, you provide a sense of safety that makes others want to be near you. Confidence isn't just about how you carry yourself, it's about the energy you project, making the other person feel grounded in your presence. Presence is a powerful tool for deepening attraction. The Stoics valued mindfulness and awareness, which translate to being fully present in each moment. When you focus all your attention on the other person, whether it's through active listening or simply sharing a moment together, you make them feel seen and valued. This presence is magnetic because it shows that you are emotionally and mentally invested in the connection. Presence creates intimacy, and intimacy fosters desire. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on the present moment, you deepen the connection and trigger longing in others when you're absent. Patience is not just a virtue. It's a powerful tool for building desire. The Stoics believed in practicing patience in all aspects of life, understanding that good things take time. In relationships, this patience means not rushing the connection or forcing the other person to feel a certain way. It means giving them the space and time to develop their own emotions without pressure. When you are patient, you show that you are not desperate or anxious, but that you trust in the natural flow of things. This patience allows desire to build organically, making it more intense when it finally materializes. Setting boundaries is essential in maintaining a sense of self-respect and attracting those who respect you in return. The Stoics believed in maintaining strong boundaries to protect your energy and emotional well-being. When you set clear boundaries, You not only protect yourself, but also show others that you value your time and space. People are naturally attracted to those who know their worth and do not allow others to overstep. Boundaries create a healthy dynamic where both parties can feel safe and respected, which is a strong foundation for desire to grow. Establishing healthy boundaries doesn't just protect your self-worth. It signals that you are someone who is emotionally independent and confident in your own skin. Leadership is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess. The Stoics taught that true leadership begins with leading yourself. When you have a clear sense of direction, purpose, and a vision for your life, others will naturally follow. To trigger attraction, you need to lead by example, take charge of your life, make decisions with confidence, and follow through on your commitments. This sense of direction not only makes you more appealing, but also positions you as someone others want to be around. People are drawn to those who have control over their own lives and are constantly striving to better themselves. Leadership is about action, and when you take the lead in your own life, it draws others to you and ignites their desire to be a part of your world. The Stoics believed in the importance of inner control, but they also understood the value of creating emotional mystery. To trigger desire, it's important to keep some aspects of your emotions and thoughts private, even if you feel drawn to share everything. Emotional mystery is about giving just enough to keep the other person intrigued, while withholding enough to keep them guessing. When you create emotional distance, it leads others to want to fill in the gaps about you, which naturally triggers attraction. Humor is an incredibly effective tool in attraction because it relaxes the other person and makes them feel more at ease. The Stoics believed that laughter and joy were natural parts of the human experience, and that humor can be a powerful way to connect with others. When you can make someone laugh and feel comfortable in your presence, you create a strong emotional bond that can trigger deeper feelings of desire. Humor is also a great way to showcase your creativity and wit, both of which are attractive traits. By not taking yourself too seriously and embracing a playful, light-hearted attitude, you make yourself more approachable and enjoyable to be around, which sparks curiosity and attraction. One of the most powerful ways to trigger desire is to cultivate the ability to let go of the need for control. The Stoics understood the value of detachment, not being overly attached to outcomes or other people. When you let go of the need to control every aspect of a relationship or situation, you allow things to develop naturally. This sense of freedom is attractive because it creates space for the other person to experience their own emotions and desires. By practicing detachment, you also show that you are comfortable being independent and that you can live a full life without relying on others for validation. This creates an alluring energy where others feel drawn to you without feeling pressured or overwhelmed. Being emotionally secure is incredibly attractive because it creates an environment of trust and safety. The Stoics taught that mastering your emotions was essential to living a good life, and this includes being emotionally stable in your relationships. When you are emotionally secure, you don't rely on others for reassurance or validation, which creates a sense of peace and safety in the relationship. People are naturally drawn to emotionally secure individuals because they provide stability and comfort. By showing that you are emotionally grounded, you invite others to relax and let their guard down, which deepens the emotional connection and triggers desire. One of the most powerful ways to trigger desire is through subtle physical touch. The Stoics believed in maintaining control over one's body, but they also understood the importance of connection. Physical touch, when done in the right way, creates a deep bond that goes beyond words. A simple touch on the arm, a gentle hand on the back, or even holding hands can ignite a spark of intimacy and desire. The key is to be mindful and intentional with your touch. When you use touch to communicate warmth, affection, and trust, it triggers an emotional response that deepens the connection. Physical connection is a powerful tool for building attraction when done with respect and awareness. The Stoics did not reject vulnerability, but instead embraced it as an opportunity for growth. Emotional vulnerability can trigger attraction, but it must be done without appearing weak or needy. To trigger desire, You need to allow yourself to be vulnerable, but in a way that shows emotional strength. When you express your emotions and experiences with authenticity but without desperation, it shows that you are secure enough to be open. This vulnerability fosters trust and intimacy, which in turn triggers deeper feelings of desire. It's about striking the right balance between being emotionally honest and being stable enough to maintain control over your emotions. While vulnerability is powerful, it is confidence that makes vulnerability so impactful. When you are confident in yourself, even in moments of emotional openness, you radiate a powerful sense of strength. The Stoics believed in the power of self-reliance and self-assurance, even in the most vulnerable moments. By being confident in your vulnerability, you show that you are emotionally secure and that you do not need validation from others. Presence is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can have. The Stoics emphasized the importance of being present in each moment and fully engaging with the world around you. To trigger desire, you must practice being present in your interactions. When you give someone your full attention, when you are mentally, emotionally, and physically available, you create a powerful connection that sparks attraction. Presence shows that you value the other person and that they are worthy of your time. When you are fully present in the moment, the other person feels important, appreciated, and valued, and this deepens the emotional connection and desire. Self-respect is one of the most fundamental qualities you can have, and it plays a central role in triggering desire. The Stoics believe that self-respect and integrity are essential for personal fulfillment. When you have a strong sense of self-respect, you set boundaries that reflect your worth and value. This quality naturally draws people to you because it signals that you will not tolerate disrespect or mistreatment. Women are attracted to men who know their worth and are unafraid to stand by their principles. The more you respect yourself, the more others will follow your example, and this creates a dynamic where attraction is based on admiration and respect. Emotional stability is incredibly attractive because it creates an environment of calm and security. The Stoics placed great importance on mastering one's emotions and maintaining composure in all situations. Emotional stability signals maturity and self-control, qualities that make you appear dependable and strong. When you can stay calm and centered during stressful situations, it not only makes you more attractive, but also encourages others to feel safe and secure in your presence. Women are drawn to emotionally stable men because they know they can rely on them when times get tough. This emotional steadiness triggers deep attraction because it creates an anchor for connection and intimacy. Positive energy is magnetic. The Stoics believed in the importance of approaching life with a positive mindset and an optimistic outlook, regardless of external circumstances. When you radiate positive energy, people are naturally drawn to you. You become someone who uplifts those around you, and this energy is contagious. Women are attracted to men who bring joy and light into their lives, as it creates a sense of warmth and affection. By practicing gratitude, positivity, and a solution-oriented mindset, you naturally create an atmosphere where desire can grow. Positive energy invites others into your world, making them want to stay and experience more of what you have to offer. Your body language speaks volumes, often louder than words. The Stoics valued control over both their words and actions, understanding that how you carry yourself plays a crucial role in attraction. When you exude confidence through your body language, such as standing tall, making eye contact, and moving with purpose, you send the message that you are sure of yourself. This physical presence can be incredibly magnetic because it radiates power, comfort, and control. Women are naturally drawn to men who have commanding body language, as it signals that you are emotionally confident and not easily swayed by external factors. Confidence in your body language fosters desire by making you appear emotionally unshakable and attractive. Patience is not just a virtue, it is an incredibly attractive quality. The Stoics understood that patience allows for clarity and the ability to navigate life with purpose. In relationships, patience helps you avoid the temptation of rushing things or trying to force attraction. Instead, when you practice patience, you give the relationship time to unfold naturally. You allow the other person to develop their own feelings at their own pace. This absence of urgency creates space for the other person to appreciate your presence and your emotional consistency. Patience also prevents neediness and desperation, two qualities that repel attraction. By mastering patience, you create an environment where desire can develop slowly but steadily, growing stronger over time. Neediness is a major turnoff because it signals insecurity and a lack of self-sufficiency. The Stoics placed great importance on independence and self-reliance, qualities that naturally attract others. When you are non-needy, you show that you are emotionally self-sufficient and not desperate for anyone's attention or affection. This creates an air of mystery and autonomy that makes others intrigued and attracted to you. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't need them to feel whole or validated because it signals strength, confidence, and self-assurance. When you are emotionally independent, you create a dynamic where attraction is based on genuine connection rather than neediness. While emotional independence is crucial, being emotionally available is also important in triggering desire. The Stoics believed in the importance of emotional awareness and honesty, understanding that connection thrives when people share their true selves with one another. To trigger desire, you need to be emotionally open without being needy. When you share your emotions honestly and with intention, you create a vulnerable space where the other person can emotionally invest in the relationship. Emotional availability fosters connection, trust, and intimacy, all of which are essential for deep attraction. By practicing emotional openness, you create a dynamic where desire can grow organically. Playing hard to get doesn't mean deliberately ignoring someone or acting aloof, but rather creating a sense of intrigue and exclusivity. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-discipline and emotional distance, and this can be applied to attraction. By not always being available and by occasionally creating space, you increase the desire of the other person. When you are not constantly at their beck and call, you make them miss you and long for your attention. This dynamic of playful detachment makes you more appealing because it signals that you are in control of your own life and not dependent on the relationship. Playing hard to get is a powerful tool for sparking desire and maintaining a sense of mystery. Self-sufficiency is one of the most attractive qualities you can cultivate. The Stoics understood that inner peace and contentment come from being self-sufficient, not relying on external sources of validation. To trigger desire, focus on becoming someone who doesn't need others to complete them. When you are emotionally independent and lead a fulfilling life without relying on others for happiness, you become incredibly attractive. Women are drawn to men who can take care of themselves, both emotionally and practically. This independence makes you a challenge to others, and challenge creates desire. The more self-sufficient you are, the more you will find that others desire your presence because you don't need them to feel complete.